WW1 beginnings to 1615 and 50 early encounters. As the rest of the picture, a critical view. The early artist created his first his photograph or rock carving admitted 700 years ago. The picture shown in this photo, a National Graphic photographer Ralph Lee Hopkins is found in the desert of present-day New Mexico. Although the medium disc and most powerful photographs is no longer known, some may tell a story or celebrate an event. What story or event might this figure and the items surrounding its community? Unit 1 Early Encounters. The Americas. Sorry, hold on. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. C. Well, 1000 BC, the ancient people began to farm in the southwestern region of North America. 1 AD? No, sorry, 19. With 250 AD, the Mayan Classic period begins. Mayan temple in Turin, Guatemala, in 500 AD. Oh, sorry. Oh, in 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire falls, and the period known as the Middle Ages still begins in West Europe. In 500 AD, Africa. Stop doing that. Oh. Guyana, because the first great trading state in West Africa. In, in 12,000 AD, more than 40,000 people lived in the busy city of the capitalists. And also in 12,000 BC in Africa, the Empire of Mali, built on tree and gold, rising West Africa. Turin, cultural horse, and rider created in Mali on the early 1500s. That's the map. And also, this right here, the Aztec in 1325 AD, the Aztecs found Trinity and built a great civilization. Aztec worship of spirits possibly used in religious ceremonies. Your actual avatar favorite. Anyways, and the map. See? Look at this. And the defeated the another map. See this? And there it is. So, yeah. Historic determine chronology. What activities were undertaken throughout much of the world beginning the 1400s? This right here, the Indian built Machu Picchu by picking the Andrew Mountain, golden Inca artifact. Looks like a couch, but stopped. Oh, oh, come on. Oh, come on. I have to start this again. We're here. We have to start. 1400 Europe, the resident became Europe. Resident artist Leo Ricci painted the Mona Lisa. In the 1405, he became the first of 7 voyages from China exploring Asia and Africa. And in 1450, the Inca built Machu Picchu, the Andes Mountain golden Inca artifact. And in 14 yeah, in 1492, Columbus made the first intelligent voyages to the Americas. We find it was India, but not India. It was in America. In 1519, Heritage Cortes led the invasion of Mexico and conquered the Aztec. In 1626, the Dutch mined Manhattan Island, where Native Americans found New Hampshire, present-day New York, on the site. Our image of New York and New Hampshire's settlements. Of New Hampshire settlements. In the 1650, Africa, more than 40 trading ports opposed Africa's west coast sent slaves to the New World. Free roads before 1500. Such a question. Oh, we actually was your first capture. Oh, we reached our first capture. Okay, finally, we reached our first capture. Capture one. Free roads before 1500. Such a question. How were early civilizations in the Americas, Africa, and Europe both similar and different? American story. Land of plenty. Section 1. Societies of the Americans. Key vocabulary. Civilization, democracy, geological perspective, human geography, the I-course lineage, immigration, chaotic, the matrices, library, physical geography, podlodge, slash and bird, ocean, slash and bird, agricultural, temperate, and turn dress. 5, 9. So section 4 is just section 1 is about 14 vocabulary words. Wow, same. Section 2 societies of Europe. Carnival, carnival, airless, energy, humanistic, matter system, navigating, printing press, profit, prostitution, surface, vassal. And that's about 11. So 14, 11, 25. Okay. One. Oh, Century Free Society of West Africa. Carnival, Convert, OCs, Pilgrimage, just was it tried Ceramic. Alright. 25. So that's 31 for calorie rest in the first one. Because Century 6. If I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments. The copy is 31. There you go. See? Capture a new American, American gallery online. Calories, a Native American city. Reuse that strategy. Compare and contrast. To compare and contrast those similarities and differences between two or more people, places, event, or team. As you read geographic articles like this one, to compare and contrast is sometimes to discuss. Americans of empires, blank blank. Europeans, blank blank blank. Africa, blank blank blank. And here's the map. Mr. Urban right here. I'll quote for the day. All teams are bound together. All, all teams connect. By Seattle, their mission leader. It's created rivers, brooks, and waterfalls flow through the rolling landscape of Vermont's Green Mountain National Forest. The 400,000-acre forest also holds archaeological evidence from the Native American original rivers dating back to 10,000 years. What natural resources can you identify in the folder? The Native Americans population might have used to spread. Might have used to survive. 3 rows before 300. Alright, so look at this and I'll do very slow. I'll do it very slowly. See? What can you notice? I could notice plants. And then there's your answer. Please. American Story, National Graphic, Line of Plenty. And here's a mountain. Probably text coming up. Oh wow. This is how it looks like. By Dr. Terence Clark. Director Sriracha article features project University of Sriracha. What play means to you? For the first people who live in North America, the concept of playing revolved around food, hunting, gathering, and growing food took up a lot of your time. Luckily for them, they lived the life of plenty. As you have just read, North America is one of the geographically very places in the world. It has towering mountain regions, the ranges. Oh, you don't even know you're just not recording me. I know you're not just recording me. Mountain ranges. Where is this? Mountain ranges, wide, grassy plains, rocky coasts, gentle valleys. Networks of powerful rivers support rich soil. Countless species thrive in every part of the continent. For thousands of years, North America's very environments have provided people both ancient and modern with lush natural resources. Wherever bison the Great Plains varies from rain forests east to the Rocky Mountains, where fish along the coast, the first residents planted to eat. Teachers that Native Americans because the continent developed ways to produce more food in the southwest desert. They raised common crops like corn, beans, and squash. The eastern woodlands they defined slash and burn methods to create land on which to farm. Native Americans knew a great deal about the world around them, and they understood the delicate balance of taking from nature and modern ways to respect. Critical thinking. Their run from Turner back to California just what details in this folder reset North America and other places. How might the concept of playing have defined people who lived in North America in the past? American stories. Start right here. Wow, I have to write it down. cultural stuff. Girls, let's take a look at one. Hold on. See how much pages we have left? We will even end until page 48. And I tell you, we're really close to page 48. Right. American stories. Cultures of Northwest Coast. Let's take a look at one region in particular, the Pacific Northwest. The demonstrates the powerful relationship between Native Americans and the natural world. The Pacific Northwest is a geographic culture area that stretches from way down northern California to present-day Alaska. It includes coastal areas, inland forests, and southern mountain ranges. It is also where the massive Columbia River flows through the Cascade Mountains into the Pacific Ocean. One unique feature of the Pacific Northwest is its temperate rainforests, which are characterized by heavy rainfall as much as 14 feet per year. And by modern temperatures, these rainforests are also home to some of the biggest trees in the world, including southern spruce, dry squillas, and Douglas fir. These trees can grow to more than 250 feet tall and live for hundreds of years. The first people who lived in the Pacific Northwest developed distinct cultures, including the Queen U2, the the Queen Kit, and the High the 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 Shinta, and many others. Because oh, it's very hard enough to say. Why has it happened? Do I need to be on everything? After I throw your kid away from me? What do I do now? Because they live along great trees. These cultures mastered skills in woodworking. They built huge playing houses, some are for hundreds of people. They carved sturdy and seaworthy boats out of enormous tree trunks. Northwest Coast people use working in other ways too. If we carve and painted totem poles torn over villages. Tourists demonstrated villager and family identities and indicated those traditions, traditions, the tribal social struggle. It's a corrupted child colorful representatives of Pacific Northwest wildlife, including bears, rabbits, willows, and eagles, as well as human figures and supernatural spirits. Totems function as collective stories, and the stories they tell have been passed down among the generations. About generations. I love to read the whole thing, but wood carving also played a role Northwest coast ceremonies. Some ceremonies marked at 40 times in the years are life events, and others reinforce social time. Shambles are people who believe to be able to help others, communing with the spirit world, guided the carving of mass use during some ceremonies. The Columbia River rises in British Columbia, Canada. It empties in Pacific Ocean in Iceland, Oregon, not far from the coastline shown here. Ocean, forests, and rivers are like groups in many other areas of North America. The coastal area, the coastal people of the Pacific Northwest did not farm to take food, so instead they relied on plentiful natural resources available to them. The many rivers that flow into the Pacific Ocean nourish the land and provide a welcome habitat for hundred species of plants and animals. Perhaps the most important of these was the salmon. Since the earliest days of North America, five species of salmon-born rivers and lakes have traveled downstream to live their adult lives. They, they only return to freshwater to spawn or reproduce and die. That makes sense why it's not why there's no vocabulary words there. We're not plenty, not 1.1. That actually makes way more sense. Is there a map? Yeah, there's no map. There is no maps. Oh. Where's the North American because people? Oh, and lakes had traveled naturally to live their lives in the ocean. They only return to freshwater to spawn or reproduce and die. These spawn events by the millions of fish return to the streams and lakes in their north and are some of the greatest migrations on Earth. For many northwest coastal people, abundant predictable salmon migrations or runs provide the backbone of their traditional economies. The spring salmon runs in April and May were continue to be incredibly important in providing food for Northwest coast people. After a long winter substituting on dry food, including smoked and dried salmon, spring was a time of plenty as fresh food returned to the menu. Historically, the coming of the salmon often saved tribes from starvation as their winter supply dwindled. In addition to salmon, northwest northwest coast people harvest a variety of shellfish, including clams, well, cockleys, mussels, mussels, and oysters. Oysters. They also hunted many land animals and birds, gathered uh, gathered a wide variety of plants and berries, and even hunting whales in some areas. And this totem you see right here, see this totem? Northwest Coast totem poles are truly statistics with bright colors, detailed carving, and geometric patterns. What animals can you see on the totem? A monkey. Dude, for how long? A unique worldview. Northwest Coast people saw themselves as an important part of the environment. Of their environment. Respect to the natural world was at the core of the worldwide of their worldview. They believe the plants and animals around them are as important as the human neighbors, as their human neighbors. As how does this compare with the view people today have a relationship with between humans and nature? You see, I told you. Oh, you watch this. I told you. Ah, 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 ah. I told you it's all this. What the? What the heck? What's smoke coming from? What? I feel smoke. Hold on. I feel the smoke coming out. Oh no! The smoke. The smoke actually coming out. Hold on. Just smoke coming out. Just actually smoke coming out. What did I do wrong? I told you it's all gonna come. Oh, I'll talk about that. Northwest Coast cultures also believes that many animals possess a human-like ability. Some even could even change into human form and take on traits such as anger and do not treat with respect. If someone did not hunt or fish in a respectful way, the animal might tell its kin to refuse to be caught in the future. All this added up to one clear point: survival required. The smoke came down. Oh no, hold on. The smoke came down. Actually, oh my gosh, the smoke. Oh my god, why am I even outside in the first place? No, I'm just gonna be outside. All added to one clear point: the survival required living in balance with animals and plants and respecting the natural world. Living a balanced life would ensure that food will be able year after year. Not doing so would be direct consequences to the tribe. North Coast people adapted to the and were shaped by the environments. In one way, the environment shaped who you are. American Stories. King of the Savage. Students at the Loomis Nation School. Oh, actually, I'm gonna read the last. Hold on. Northwest Coast American Story. King of the Savage. Northwest Coast cultures perform special ceremonies to honor nature and to show respect for the plants and animals that continue alive. One of the most important of these was the first Sabbath ceremony. After grueling winter of cold rain with little access to fresh food, spring found new home in abundance. People initially waited the arrival of the Sabbath to usher in a season of plenty. The first Sabbath to return to the river was called the King of the Sabbath. People believed that as the leader, the King of the Sabbath had power to encourage other salmon to come and be caught or to scare away the other fish. If he was not treated with respect, the entire salmon run could be affected. To welcome the king and salmon, shamans conducted the first salmon ceremony. Whole communities gathered to pay respect. I didn't salmon had a community. Although the first salmon ceremony varied among different groups, free steps, scribes, and right characterized as ritual, which is still reformed today. Was the ceremony is complete, the salmon fishing season is clear, fishing open, and everyone could begin catching fish for food. Students at the Lubbock Nation School in the Bellingham, Washington, prepared to bring in the first salmon, and their I don't know. We mean every year celebration of the traditional ceremony. One, catching and welcoming the salmon. The chief selects a fisherman to catch the king and salmon. Once caught, I'm gonna tell us you don't show me a video. I'm recording a video. Huh? You know? I'm recording a video. Oh, my bad, bro. Bro. Oh. Alright, hold on. Let me read. Once caught, tribal members carrying to the chief on bed made of cedar to cooking and eating the fish. Cooks, cooks delicately remove the meat from the fish. What? What? Wait, what does that mean? The head, entrails, and bones are set aside. Then community members eat the fish. 3. Return the remains to the water. Tribal members replace the remains, which are considered sacred, in the center basket with its hands facing upstream, pointing its way home. The salmon is released back into the water, where it's believed to become whole again to continue its journey. But after, what would it just be dead? Yeah, I think it's be dead. Master ceremony, the lab Morris lifts the king of the salmon to the sky as part of the movement. The nation's first salmon ceremony in May 2010. The this Tinga wood rattle carved in the shape of a salmon is an excellent example of Northwest Coast art. It is bone-shaped and colors. It takes the form of wildlife native to the region. Cultural revival. When European settlements arrived in the region in the early 1800s, two different worldviews came in contact with one another. In many cases, this content led to changes among native traditions and practices. Missionaries introduced Christianity and pressed Native Americans, Native people to change their traditions. Europeans frowned on Native beliefs that elevated the natural world to the level of humans. Yeah. So they halted some ceremonies and declared others illegal. Along with ceremonies and religious beliefs, Europeans also replaced native foods with Western ones. Over time, Northwest Coast people began to shift away traditional practices and focus on trade with the newcomers. By the late 1800s, the first salmon ceremony began to die out. During the 20th century, large commercial fisheries depleted salmon stocks all along the Pacific coast. Development, overfishing, and pollution endangered the rivers and streams where the salmon migrated to spawn. According to the Native American worldview, this lack of respect for nature led to negative consequences, which included much smaller salmon runs than had been historically known. In the 1970s, the Lunar people of the Philippine Sound Seattle, Washington, decided to bring back the first ceremony. They had never lost their belief in the importance of the plants and animals around them, as they felt the ceremony could help the salmon and the Lunar people. In addition to arriving to the first salmon ceremony, the Luma have also reclaimed salmon's spawning habits. They have restored streams to the natural state, ensured the vital environment of the salmon need to reproduce, the lure efforts are carried out. The growing numbers of salmon are returning to the territory, and lure are able to teach each other about the importance of respecting nature. Think about it. The lure received a ceremony to reinforce um, your connection to the natural world. What kind of ceremonies or celebrations do you participate in that reinforceable beliefs in your family or community? A ceremonial of blessing. After the king of Salmon is caught, cleaned, and cooked, it is ready to be eaten after a blessing. But the Christian, the this blessing, this blessing is is sorry. This blessing is recited to honor the first salmon. It has likely been handled down for generation to generation of criticals, the qualities, and is seen is delivered from the salmon can be enjoyed. From this primary source, what can you conclude about how the the, the quantity viewed the relationship with the king of the salmon? Salmon. Salmon. Primary source. We have come to be alive, swimmer. Do I feel about what I have done to you, friend swimmer? And that, for that, is the reason why you come, that I may spare you, that I may eat you. Super not natural one. You long life giver. You, swimmer, that protected us, me and my wife, that we may keep well, nothing, nothing may be difficult for us. Source from the religion of the Quaker Indians by Frank Bose, New York, Columbia University Press, 1930, page 207. We finally reach our first. What point? We finally reached our lessons. 1.1. We finally reached it. Alright, finally, we've been waiting for a very long time. Okay. 1.1. Early American civilizations. The Americans were never obliged slaves. Waiting for someone to discover them, people began arriving in the region by 20,000 years ago. Over time, they developed cultures that influenced all the Americans in the world. Main idea. Civilization emerged and thrived in Mesoamerica and South America for thousands of years. Finally, we actually reached something. Y'all know? We actually reached our first vocabulary word. Civilizations. Actually, we were reaching it earlier, but this is the first real one. So we started. It really started at page 24. That's where you start have to. I think that's when you start have to use like the workbook. The answer questions, and if I get the workbook, I will show you guys, but I'm not gonna have all of it because they cost like $60. So no, I think it costs $60. But hold on. If I rush to read a lot, it's fine. I'm ready for this. Mesoamerica. Long before 1492, growing civilizations or complex societies rose in the Americas. The earliest of the civilizations being Mesoamerica, which stretches from southern Mexico into part of Central America. Mesoamerica's landscape consists of two main areas: highlands and lowlands. The highlands lie between the mountains of the Serena Madre and a mountain system in Mexico. The lowlands are found along the coast of the Gulf of Mexico and the jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula. Both areas provide fertile land for agriculture. The fertile land allows social civilizations to develop in Mesoamerica. The Olmec Maya and Aztec thrived in different times from around 12,000 BC to around 1520 AD. The Olmec civilization, the Olmec society, settled around present-day Mexico's Gold Coast. The Maya, who were influenced by Olmec culture, many lived in parts of the countries we now call Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize. The Aztecs were the last of the major Mesoamerican civilizations establishing their empire in Central and South America. South America. To the south of Mesoamerica lies South America, a continent twice the size of the United States. South America contains coastal plains, dry forests, and deserts, and vast river basins covered by dense rainforests and grasslands. The Andes Mountains rise along the continent over a distance of about 5,500 miles, 550 miles. Extending from the extending from the northwestern coast all the way down to the southern tip, the mountains divide the Pacific coast from the continent's interior and spreading their earlier civilizations in lands that are now the countries of Peru, Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile. The the Mochi, the Inca were two of the most important civilizations. The the Mochi lived on the northern coast of present-day Peru between about 180 and 800 AD. They developed a complex irrigation system and channeled water to their crops. The rise of the Incas started in the 12th century. They established a capital city in Cusco, Peru, and later built the communist city of um, Bacupico, high in the Andes Mountains. The Andes Mountains. The the Mochi metalworking see this face right here. The Mochi were known for the vibrant grills, fine pottery, and vast metalwork. Gold monkey head beads like this one were often buried with members of the Mochi nobility. Historic thinking. See, this is the first one we started at. I don't know what page it is, but this is the first page where you did that. It's like, you do this 1, 2, and 3. These are questions, but I don't have questions at all. But if I ever do, I'll show you this. But yeah, I forgot. Historic thinking. Read and check. Oh, before can, can you please, if you like have these like, questions, can you please take a picture of it and send it to me? Send it in my comments because I actually want to know how it looks like. Please, I mean, you don't have to do it. You do if you want to. Historic thinking. Oh come on, please stop. Reading check. Historic thinking. Reading check. What three civilizations developed in North America? 2. Compare and contrast. How were the highlands and lowlands of Mesoamerica similar? 3. Interpret balance. How do you think the added balances benefit both the molecule and the Indic? Boo! Okay. Boo! The map of how early American civilization, 2000 BC to 135 AD. And if you see most of the are in North America, there's still two. Come on, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. No, come on. It did disappear. It did not disappear. It did not. It did not. And that's his ancestors. All right. So come on. See, it's only two. The one is like way too big. So the Olmec, 12,000 BC to 400 BC. Carving coastal rock, hence fought to represent Olmec rulers, established a standard trade network that carried Olmec goods and culture throughout Mesoamerica. So it's supposed to be colors. The mochi left it left no rare records, so all we know is if the culture is from the artwork. Built pyramid-like structures at the capital called Mochi, one of which was almost 165 feet tall. I'll lose his math one more time and that's it. Okay, there you go. There's your math. Maya, 250 AD to 900 AD. Developed a hybrid writing system and created a calendar. Which calendar? I don't know. Established more than 40 cities throughout Mesoamerica. Inca built a vast empire that extended from the northern border of Ecuador of Ecuador to central Chile, constructing a system of roads, bridges, and cities such as Machu Picchu, the Aztec, 2000 BC AD to 1520 AD, built an empire of up to 6 million people, required required children to attend public schools. Now, so come on, please don't go. Please stop. So of all the empires, the Mochi is the only one that had no left written record. So mine had not exist. What? You know, mine had exist. Yeah, I forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. So there are three tribes. Three tribes were in North America, and two tribes were in South America. But it could have been just one because one of these, because Mochi, the child doesn't exist at all. The biggest one is South America, and the smallest one is the Mochi are only. I'm not sure. The Mochi don't exist. 1.2 Western American cultures. How do you get food if you cannot grow it or buy it? You work with what you got. What you got? Like the Mesoamericans and South Americans. People in the North adapted to the environment. A variety of environments characterized by climate and landforms influence the culture, the influence the development of Western North American cultures. Stop. Oh, I forgot to say 1.2 Western American cultures. I forgot to say that. Main idea, a very Well, I already said that. It's the far north and Pacific coast. South America and Mesoamerica were the only places where civilization developed in the Western Hemisphere. In the extreme northwest of North America, several Native American groups flourished in prolific harsh climates. The, the, the alien oats live on the cold, nearly treeless islands off the coast of what is now Alaska. The um, Inuit live in the flat, frozen Arctic terrain of present-day Alaska and northern western Canada. Since the weather did not favor growing crops, the groups fish and hunted sea mammals for food. They use coyotes, light boats made of wood, and silk or walrus hides. Far to the south, a number of tribes lived in the evergreen forests that went down the coast from present-day British Columbia to Oregon. Groups such as the Quaker Plateau, the Haida hunted and fished, and the ocean provided plenty of food. The abundance of trees made wood the perfect material for houses, boats, and household goods. The country also hosted polishes, feasts, where families give gifts to guests to show social rank and wealth. Even farther down the coast, in what is now California, the Pueblo lived as hunter-gatherers. The Pueblo didn't need a farm because the wait, what? Did it just stopped because they use coyotes that like boats made of wood and sea or wild horses. No, what happened to this text? Hold up. It's probably just a glitch. Yeah, what just happened to this text right here? So I don't know. But I think it's because they used coyotes, lion boats made of wood and sea or walrus hides. TV like the one shown here was a round, semi-symmetrical structure that the ancient public used for ceremonies, meetings, and living spaces. These caravans are part of Christmas motions. An ancient public settlement in Chican in New Mexico. New Mexico. Oh, no. I made a glitch. Or did you make a glitch? I don't know. I'm not even done. I have to wait all the way until page 48. And right now I'm in hold on. I feel page 27. Page 27? How the heck do I finish? Oh. So the poems, because they're full of streams. Streams. Hold on. Let's go back here. The poem needed far because the streams were full of fish and plenty of edible wild plants, nuts, and berries grew on the land. The poem had a unique religion. Worshippers trusted animals, spirits, and other meanings to sing, dance, and distribute gifts. The desert and plains. The people of the north and west. In the west, Native Americans living in the southwest and Great Plains had to adapt to special climate and conditions. The area in American Southwest, the Pablo and the Hong thrived during the time of the Maya. In fact, Mesoamerica, Mesoamerican culture heavily influenced these groups. Not only the Hong Kong trade with Western Americans, they also dominated or grew similar crops for food. It created the crops in the dry climate. The Hong Kong grew cotton, squash, beans, and maize or corn. Corn by digging canals from the fields to nearby rivers. Having extra food allows the population to grow. Around 1000 AD, both the Hong Kong and the Asian province built large adobe homes made of sun-dried clay and strong green bricks. These dwellings were similar to apartment buildings with multiple floors. For example, public Motion's picture to the left once had many at 5 floors, at least 600 rooms. The ancient pyramids were once referred to as the Asphyxes, the name given them by the Nervous. In the 1990s, descendants of the ancient pyramids protest the use of the term, pointing out that it means enemy ancestors. Today, many historians use the term ancient problem. Northwest of the Hong Kong, the Great Plains tribes experience a very different way of life. Vast grasslands stretch from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains. Native Americans who lived in the eastern part of the Great Plains, such as the Bantam and Purdon, live in the settled lives of farmers, building villages of earthen lodges. The western grasslands, the Blackfoot, and other tribes like them migrating, are moved from place to place, hunting herds of bison, also commonly called buffalo, and other game for food and clothing. Tipos are tents made of bison hides served as their portable home. Tribes herded by bison from eastern the animals over cliffs or into corridors where men could kill them with arrows. Nonetheless, Plains Plains Indian tribes considered the bison sacred. They used every part of the animal, beef for food, skin and fur for clothes and teeth, and bones for tools. Historic speaking, one region. How did the tribes of the northern and western North America adapt to their environment? Two, analyze environment concept. How did the criticism, the quantity, the height, the height depend on and benefit from the natural system of the lands they inhabited? Inhabit. Three, draw a conclusion. Conclusions? Okay? Conclusions, sorry. What can you conclude on similarities between the Maya culture and those of the ancient Pablo and the Hong Kong? Three rules for 1500. 1.6? That's dumb. Why is there 1.6? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. I'm actually done. 1.3. Eastern American cultures. You climb to the top of the tower at Silver Mount in southern Ohio and look down the amazing sight below. It really does appear to be a gigantic grass-covered snake slithering across the landscape with an egg or drill in his mouth. How did it get here? Hold up, hold. How did it get here? Who made it and when? Main idea. Native Americans in Eastern North America established a stable agricultural society and specialized rural and religious practices. And I forgot something. Hold on. And these were the early North American civilizations. And this is during 1400 AD. So this is the map. Oh, she fits. So if you copy it, you copy it right now. All right. So the blue one is the Arctic. The brown one is the Palma. It says California because I'm not really sure why California is a tribe, even though that doesn't make any sense. But the orange one is the Great Basin. The yellow one is the Great Plains. The light green one, sorry, it's northeast. Wow. The green one is northwest coast. The pink one is the Plateau. The Plateau. The brown one is the southeast. The orange one is the southwest. The pink one that's subarctic. Alright. Hey, but my maps? No maps? Okay. Alright, I should continue. I read this part, so I don't have to read it anymore. Ancient mounds. Separate mound in Adams Country, Ohio, resembles a riverine snake. The mound stretches more than 1,500 feet. It is estimated to be in between 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 1,000 2,000 years old. That's where it is. And here's this slow motion. Okay, slow motion. The thing is though, and then you can see better than me because it's like blocking my view. Is using the better screen than me. Okay. 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 Deal. 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 The mound builders, separate mounds, and other mounds like it began dotting the North American landscapes around 1000 BC. Now, people who could read destruction are those the mound builders. They lived in the river valleys of the Midwest and eastern United States. These earthen mounds came in different shapes and sizes and started variety and varying purposes. Some house the name and others served the temple. The areas are in the Hopa of the two different cultures that build mountains. Both groups live chiefly in the southern part of present-day Ohio, where Cypress Mound is located. They also live in the region we now call Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Both groups were primarily hunter-gatherers through the Hopewell farm as well. Studies of the Hopewell Mound group have determined the mounds serve as ancient burial sites. A couple hundred years after the Hopewell culture died out, the mystery emerged. Began about 780, the group spread around across North America to present-day Georgia to Missouri. The mystery town Mississippi. Did it reach? Did it conquer Mississippi? Top the Mississippi towns around the the Cahokia, a grouping of mounds located in Illinois, served as a culture's capital. At the county mound site, Bucks Mound stands near 100 feet high. Its base is larger than that of the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Dang, really? No. Well, actually, because the Great Pyramids in Egypt were actually made it before. So yeah, all the hunter-gatherers cultures in the ancient Helpa, the Mississippians were largely agricultural. For food, they planted crops. Food they planted crops such as corn, beans, and squash, having a large dependent. A lot of the Mississippi were large agriculture. Food dependent crops such as corn, bean, and squash, having a large independent harvest helped to feed a large population. Discovery alone may have housed as many as 1,500 people. People of the woodlands, just like the series depended on farming for the livelihoods, so too did the tribes who lived after them in the woodlands of eastern and southeastern North America. The bioclimate to the southeast made it an ideal place to grow crops. The Chesapeake and the tropical of present Mississippi and Alabama grew corn, beans, and pumpkins. Women planted and harvested the crops. They also cooked, cared for children, and made baskets, clothes, and other goods. Men cleared the land, constructed buildings, hunted and served as warriors, and engaged in trade. Both the Chickasaw and the Choctaw societies were matriarchs, meaning to trace the family lines through the mothers. Agriculture was so important to these groups that one religious ceremony was the Green Corn Festival. The festival was held. Yeah, I think an old shadow. You see the screen. The festival was held each summer as the corn began to ripen. Over a series of days, people fast, feast, dance, and pray. The religion in which the eastern woodlands people lived was heavily wooded, which explains its name. The tribes in the eastern woodlands practiced a tinny known as slash and burn agriculture. This method involved cutting down and burning trees to clear land and exploring the group's pattern of moving frequently. Their farms were not permanent. Two, two groups named for their languages they spoke. They spoke live in the eastern woodlands. The the African the Africans the Iracles lived on the coast. The Iracles primarily lived in the central part of present New York. And Algonquin groups, men were the heads of households, but the Iracles society was matriarchal, and women shared political power with men. Five Iracles-speaking nations banded together to form the Iracles League. The Mohawks, Otis, the Otis, Ocha, Clay, the Ka, Ukli, and Sendon. This brought long-lasting peace among them. Among them, the Irish nation still exists today. Historic figure, region. What region? How did farming maintain a large population in Wisconsin? 2. Identify problems and solutions. Yes, sometimes your children might want to might want to do like the pages, so do the pages. So they didn't creatures at all. I didn't find it even though they didn't make it. You couldn't find it anywhere else. How did farming help maintain a large population casualties? 2. Identify problems and solutions. How did the eastern woodlands people solve the problem of growing food in forests? 3. Analyze the environment concept. How did the practice of slash and burn agriculture carried out by the tribes of the eastern woodlands at also tackle the natural systems in the region? 1.4 National Geographic Explorer John Kelly. The first one, is that completely about history? It's completely about someone else, but yeah. Let's just do this! This Birdman tablet depicts a man with wings. It was found on the east side of Monk's Mound. Oh. Miles on the Mississippi. The country has changed our ideas about ancient Native American culture. John Kelly. Once, once one of the greatest cities of America, country was largely understudied for hundreds of years. In the 1950s, President Dwight Eisenhower instituted the Interstate Highway Program with programs or articles of average along the roads. What the archaeologists found in the East Sloan, Illinois, Mount Center, astounded them. Astounded them. Over 1,000 houses have been built in a very short, amazing short span of time. What had drawn so many people to the site? Who were they? Of the tribes, all archaeologists. John Kelly has been working on these answers to these questions for 4 years. Highways run on either side of the Coffee Bugs Mound. The largest pyramid north of Mesoamerica. A temple may have once stood in the pathway along the top of the mound. At the climb to the top, the priest would have the magic food conscious finds as floodplain, known as the American bottom. And this is how it looked like. I'm gonna show it for you. This is how the road looks like. Okay. Main idea. Archaeologist John Kelly's evacuation of the coffee mounds have provided insights to the city's culture and its rise and fall. City City of Mystery. National Geographic Explorer John Kelly has his work cut off for him. We don't really live like consciously. The people who lived here didn't have a real language. We don't even know what they call themselves or the city they live in. The consciously was named people who lived briefly on the side in the 1700s, long after the city had disappeared. Archaeologists have pierced together what evidence they found to expand our understanding of companies. As Kelly admits, people still aren't really sure what it is. Something's wrong with this chair. Hold on, I feel this might fall down. The, the people who later didn't even have a real language. We don't know if they call it O or I remember the city, but I remember it. Or the city they lived in. According to the native people who be business site is the 1700s. Long after the city had disappeared, archaeologists had pierced together what evidence they found to expand our understanding of prophecy. But as Kelly admits, people aren't really sure what it is. According to Kelly, one thing we do know is that people have been leaving Canada for years. The area is in reach on the Missouri, Illinois, and Mississippi rivers, and the land, the land was good for growing and varying crops, including corn. The population swelled from about 7,000 to 50,000 people to 1,000 to 1,180. Maybe because the rivers. There's your answer. One surprising theory says that the people arrive after a extremely bright star called a supernova appeared around this time. A supernova? What? Huh? A supernova? That doesn't make any sense at all. For whatever reason, people arrive in cargoes in large numbers to build a richer city with houses, farmland, and great palaces for religious celebration. Above all, literally, they built the mounds. Bu- Monk's Mound was the tallest, named for the French monks who once lived in its shadow. The mound rose 100 feet in the center of the city. Laborers, laborers toiled on it for about 25 years, using old baskets and stone hoes. Rise and fall. Over time, the the the, the, the colonists built at least 110 underground. Some of these were used as burial sites. Archaeologists still working on one called Mound 72, uncovering the remains of a man surrounded by ornaments and weapons. They also discovered the bodies of men and young women buried within therein. Some, some were likely human sacrifices. Kelly has spent much investigating a mound that wasn't used for burials. Mound 34, actually his research is tracing underneath the mound. The conference constructed a building on okay, hold on. Top of the mound platform, but other buildings in copper workshops stood beneath the mound. Kelly Center works with students at the site of Carthage Mound 34. They're actually standing underneath the mound which was removed. The artifacts suggest that a special society of hunters or warriors may have used the building that stood on top of the ground. Monks Mound rises in the background. Oh, how? According to Kelly, the buildings they've been placed there and covered with the earth to represent the view of the earth, view of the world as it is. In three layers, they built beneath the world with earth under this world and the upper world. As Kelly says, we focus on the mounds. The history is really about the building that was there before the mound. Around the end of the 1100s, a different kind of construction began in Canada. Walls were uh, 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 eradicated around the city, possibly to as protection against attack. But as then, by then, the population had already begun to dwell and the city to decline. Some say climate change or disease may have led to the fall currently. Kelly says that a massive flood may have covered the city and caused people to leave for a brief time. Over a century later, a long drought may have led to eventual abomination. Abandonment. But what we know is that for some reason, by the late 300s, the residents had left the city, all because of a hurricane. Causes remains mystery to the end. Historic speaking. Wait, there's only three questions, that too. Hold up. But they're very short. Historic speaking, what did the conferences build in the city? Analyze cause and effect. Why did the causes decline? Hold up. Well, I hold on. Uh, uh, Okay. 1.5 Cultural History, National Museum of American India, Washington, D.C. The National Museum of American India, NMAI, is located in Washington, D.C. On the National Mall. The museum and its ground were designed with the help of tribes, communities, for the hemisphere to share the sense and spirit of Native Americans with its many visitors. NMAI has a diverse collection of Native American arts and artifacts. Over 800,000 items replacing more than 12,000 cultures throughout the Americas and over 12,000 years of history. The visitors experience everything from ancient tools and weapons to modern Native American art, culture, and religious artifacts. The everyday item. Which of these items below were used for everyday activities and which ones serve a different purpose? Alright. The Tegan Calapaddle. These techno paddles date to the early 1900s. The Latinos are indigenous people of the Pacific Northwest in North America, where fish are abundant. Ow! For the Latinos, canoes and paddles are tools necessary for survival or buzzard. This period of being only Ottawa University was purchased by a trader at Crown Point, Indiana. The fur trade depot, the bolster featured folded down silk cuffs, then created small beads arranged in dashed lines. A pattern often found on this type of ornament buttons. Slate teardrops and tight diamond shapes also decorate the buttons and are outlined with even smaller white glass beads. What do you hear about the craftsmanship of these archers of Masi? And this is part of the weapon. Part of the weapon is the other page. And this, hold on, I have to go later. Chief of the Undersea Mask. This color I've seen it before. This colorful carved wooden mask is a chief of the Undersea Mask. It's colorful carved wood mask is made of western red center. It represents the chief of the Undersea Kingdom. He is believed to live in a copper home under the ocean, guarded by sea monsters. Silver masks like this one usually this is one usually pick characters from family and historians or from the supernatural. This mask was carved by master carver from the Navajo tribe in West Canada, the late 1800s or the early 1900s. You leave right now. Oh yeah, that piece again. Right now. The U-shaped, the U-shaped design that surround the face represent the skulls of a fish or a sea culture. They may have added to the mask later by a second artist. Added to the mask. What? It's too hard to say. Look. The paddles are made of yellow cedar or ornately painted with wolf design. We seek to breathe David's voice into every school, every library, every university, indeed every home. Kevin Gore proudly directed the National Museum of the American Indian. What percent? Geography of in history. Native American environments. Main idea. Main idea. Before European settlement, 500 Native American tribes inhabited North America. Geography helped to shape the device cultures. Physical and human geography. When you examine how geography affected people and culture, you take a geographical perspective. That is, you are looking at culture through the lens of geography. You can examine two aspects of geography: physical geography and human geography. Physical geography refers to the physical characteristics of a region. It includes the surface of the earth, soil, and bodies of water, climate, and glaciers, and ice sheets. What the? What the heck did it just? I feel some meteor just fell off. I think it's flying from the sky. Animal life. Human geography. Actually, first I read three vocabulary words are the same like line area. Physical geography refers to the physical characteristics of a region. It includes the surface of the earth, soil, bodies of water, climate, glaciers, and ice sheets. It also includes plants and animal life. Human geography examines how people and their cultures are affected by the physical geography, and how human activities affect the environment. For example, geography has a great impact on how people make a living. People who live near the sea often make a living by fishing, and in these regions, for social farming is usually the important economic activity. Using physical geography and human geography to study these Native American tribes before the arrival of Christopher Columbus in America. For each group, you will find a, a, uh, place place you find explanation on their physical geography and human geography. I keep saying it wrong though. I keep saying it wrong. Car polar bear to handle Alaska. Earth Earthenware Bowl, New Mexico. Stone Point Eastern Woodlands. Wow, look at this. It's the same map. So there's no California this time. Okay, see, the year later. Oh, everything would change. But this is a picture. Okay, so there's a little before. See, okay. So we actually finished this. Physical geography. Arctic is sub-Arctic. The intricate Iracas are other tribes of this region live in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The land that we now call Alaska is the land of the snow and ice, with little vegetation in the winter. Northwest coast. This physical geography and human geography. The people living in the far north clearly adapt to their harsh environment. They have to fix sails and wheels, build igloos of ice to protect themselves from tree cold. Northwest coast. The tribes of the northwest coast live in the region that now the states of the Washington and Oregon, the Canada province of British Columbia. It is a rich environment with lush forests and rivers filled with fish. The tribes of the northwest, according to Trudeau and the Ticklists, They fished and hunted for bears and other large games. Large game. The agriculture the agriculture of the region allowed farmers to accumulate wealth. Families gained honor by giving away part of their wealth in ceremony called the potlatch. Great Basin and Plateau. This region, west of the Great Plains, features soaring mountains and plateaus with large stretches of grassland. The land supported large mammals, including a- antelope, moose, elk, mountain goat, and bison. Using shot and other tribes hunted for game and fish in the river for salmon and trout. For some Native Americans, even created dances to mimic the movement of the grass in the wind. Southwest. The Southwest, which includes today's Arizona and New Mexico, is a region of deserts with very little rainfall. The climate is harsh, with temperatures soaring to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, or more in the summer. But the region also has rivers. The rivers cruise to the region because of the lack of rainfall. The primitive tribes who live near the region Grande New Mexico planted maize, corn, and other crops near the river. Oh my gosh. Great Plains. The Great Plains stretches from present-day Idaho to Wyoming. The region is flat with plains and tall grass. Tall grass and bears. The most important resource was once the bison, or buffalo, which numbered at least 30 million and 1400s. The Great Plains had many tribes, including the Lito, the Blackfoot, the Blackfoot, and the Matata. These tribes had one thing in common. They used the bison for food, shelter, and clothing. Northwest. The Northwest region spans the present-day states from Virginia to Maine. This land had ample rainfall, many rivers and streams, and well of or natural resources include wild game, fish, and fertile soil. The, the out on wood and English-speaking people who live in this region use the many rivers and streams as highways. They build canals out of wood and birch bark to use for long-distance trading. Southeast. The southeast reaches from today's North Carolina, Carolina to Florida. It offers many natural gifts about climate, the plentiful rainfall, and fertile soil. The Cherokee, the Choctaw, and other groups grew maize, beans, squash, and other crops. The fertile soil. Because of the mild climate, the land supported the large population and tribes to thrive. Feel like a geographer. 1. Identify main needs and details. How did different Native American groups adapt to the amount of rainfall they had? 2. Make inferences. What did the potlatch reveal about the attitudes for towards wealth among the Native Americans of the Northwest? 2.1 The Middle Ages. For hundreds of years, the Roman Empire united. The Roman Empire united with so much in Europe. What's the Empire? Empire rebuilt 446 AD. Its laws and social class too. With the Empire no longer controlled, now what? Well, could well have been the question on almost everyone's mind. Many idea. During the Middle Ages, Western Europe went underway by political, economic, and social changes. Interesting. A, a very close society. Political, economy, and social problems led to the decline of the Western Roman Empire. As the empire weakened, Germany tried from northern what about the Eastern Roman Empire? That's just for a thousand years. Since over 476. The empire weakened, Germany tried from northern Europe, Western Europe, and overthrew the emperor. The end, the Western Roman Empire sealed the beginning of the period known as the Middle Ages, which lasted from about 580 to 1450 AD. With no central government after the fall of Rome, Western Europe largely consisted of small kingdoms ruled by German tribes such as the Franks, the Visigoths, and Vikings. Over time, the kingdoms it grew and became very powerful. Wait. To help the leaders of this kingdom hold onto the land and protect their subjects, a political and social system called fairness developed. Fairness developed ensured the defense and security of kingdoms were constantly at war with one another. To achieve this security by attaining strict social hierarchy or order. Kings set aside this structure to give peace to the land to noblemen. Those lords, a lord in turn granted parts of this land to lesser noblemen called vassals. Vassals paid taxes on the land and pledged their military service to the lord. Structure of First Society. A king inherited his position, but none could rule without the support of the nobleman. Church officials and noblemen office exercise more power to the king. Knights guarded the lord's castle and fought for him according to his strict code of conduct. Servants worked land in exchange for protection, a serf provided loyalty, labor, and crops. The plague doctors. When bubonic plague swept through the medieval Europe in the 1500s, the medical science was still 500 years away from understanding its cause. At the time, some doctors believed the plague was spread by bad air or orders. The 1600 French physical created constant children to protect the sun's orders and support this plague. But the problem was not order. The problem was infesting rats and the flea. Rats spread through medieval cities without sanitation. Police lived on the rats, spread the disease by default. The victim did often surrender. The, the victim often suffered swelling, swelling, vomiting, back pain, doubling, and finally death. I think I have cancer. Yeah, I think I have cancer. I've been trying to use my hand as this scene so that way I can fix it, but now it hurts. I feel like cancer. Oh, why I hit my thumb? Bro, why do I have no screws here? Oh, cancer, no! And this is how it looks like. Oh, come on! Why can't we just finish? Dude, I still have to do all these lessons. I have to finish. I don't even finish. Come on, I'm not even done. I'm not even free. Main vessels were soldiers in the army and served at night. Who were warriors on horseback, peasants called served and abandoned heat. The marriage system emerged as a result of federalism. System consisted consisted of peasants bound to the lord's land or manor. Landowners maintained a tight grip on both their lands and their workers, and while the peasants workers received a level of military. You see the sun from the spirit. Ah! Okay, what's that? While the peasant workers received a level of military protection that they could not provide for themselves. Land orders continued to try to grip on both the land and the workers. While the peasant workers received a level of military protection, they did not provide for themselves. Families and the marriage system remained in place throughout the Middle Ages, providing stability to Western Europe. Wars, trade, and towns. Still, federalism was not the only source of stability. The core, the Roman Catholic Church served as the strongest unifying force in medieval Europe. Late in the 1100 century, or 1000 AD, the Church waged the increasing wars against the spread of Islam, which they fell. The religious followers, called Muslims, had seized control of the Holy Land to Jerusalem and the surrounding area. Those began to tie the Christian Byzantine Empire with the ancient Afro Roman Empire. What's the problem with this though? I think it's only one. I think it's only one. I remember what the Christians continued to 2nd century. Although the Christians to acquire lands in areas pursuedly. You see? I knew it! The SS eventually did win. Because the Christians. The Christians continued for 2 centuries, 200 years. All Christians could acquire land in areas previously conquered by Muslims. Land increased to establish a trade center. Through this, though the Christians were ultimately successful, they eventually lost any land they captured. They actually increased trade between Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean region. As trade increased in Europe, the businesses, the business, and the economy grow. And the economy grow. As trade increased in Europe, business and the economy grew, towns grew, too, as people left their petitions on the matters for better jobs. Outbreak of the death disease called the bubonic plague also created jobs. In the 1400th century, the plague killed as many as 1/3 of all Europeans. These laborers, lucky enough to survive the illness, found better work process as a result of the decline in population. Less communication led greatest the opportunities for those who survived. The plague of the boons to cities and towns helped bring the decline of federalism and the end of the Middle Ages. Europe began to experience cultural changes that marked the beginning of a new age of creativity. Historically, region. How the batch system fairly similar to others. 2. Downloads. When one way were the Crusades both successful and unsuccessful. 3. Compare and contrast. How the Fairless and the Church find Europe so similar and differently. Critical thinking. During the Renaissance, artists often paid schooling or non-religious subjects in everyday studies. What do details in do do in every tell you about in every sentence? What did the details tell in this painting tell you about this woman's everyday life? Oh come on! I want to still read more. J. Paul Gray Museum, L.A., Los Angeles. It was 1492 to 1557, known especially for vegetation nature of Florence and Italy. This painting, portrait of a woman with a book of music, reflects new styles and techniques employed by resident artists. For example, little columns and face in this painting. By painting it properly smaller, partially smaller, Maxwell has produced pressure these items placed well behind the woman. This technique, called presenting, gives illusion of depth and distance and help Bashes create a work that looks three-dimensional. But 2.2, Racism and Reformation. The 1500 revolution began to brew in Europe. But this revolution didn't involve weapons of war, it involved idea. People focused on the individual and believed every person had unlimited possibilities. These were revolutionary ideas. The Renaissance marked a time of curiosity, learning, experimental communication, and change. Rebirth of art and learning. Historians called it the revolution movement that began the end of the Middle Ages, the Renaissance. Rebirth. The Renaissance originated in Italy and spread other parts of Europe. The movement had its roots concentrated in ancient Greece and Rome, and philosophy and humanism. Okay. Okay. The humans encouraged freedom of thought and development of new ideas. The Renaissance also saw the revival elements of ancient Greek and Roman architecture, such as columns and churches. This revival enabled generations of artists and architects to achieve levels of artistic creation not seen in Europe for 1,000 years. Painters such as the Revolution and the Michelangelo offers a lot of brilliances, create works that still inspire awe in people today. Leonardo da Vinci is considered by many to be an ideal Renaissance figure. Leonardo not only painted artistic masterpieces, but she was also an inventor, sculptor, and artist. His studies of anatomy and others provided to be ahead of their time. The ideas of the Renaissance had also had effects on literature. In the mid 1400s, John Gutenberg's invented the printing press, which used movable metal typed pages, allowed the mass determination of classicity and humanity literacy works. As the ability of printed materials increasing, more people learn to read, and the philosophy of the Renaissance human movement became spread rapidly across Europe. Division in the church. By the time the Renaissance, the Catholic Church became a loose stone in power. Some members changed the church with corruption and convert reform. This gradual process towards change within the church eventually led to the Reformation. A split from the Catholic Church that took place in the early 1600s. 16th century. Martin Luther, uh, not Martin Luther King, Martin Luther, a German pastor and university professor, led to this movement. He believed well, political sweeper scripture it was more important to pose for authority. He believed that the Christians achieved God's favor through faith rather by doing good works. Luther was professionally excommunicated or expelled from the Catholic Church for his teachings. Followers of the Reformed religion became known as Protestants, or a church split between the Protestant Protestants and Catholics. Over time, many different Protestant churches called denominations developed, which each with its own set of beliefs within the framework of Christianity. Historically speaking, one region from which ancient cultures the Renaissance intonation. Two, the strap. Why was the printing press was such an important invention to the Renaissance? Three, draw conclusions. Why do why do you think the Catholic Church? Why is there a B excommunicate Martin Luther? Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King. Martin Luther, the German person. The difference. 2.3. Create a smash. Just like the Renaissance spirit smashing people's lives and attitude, it also inspired the spirit of adventure and curiosity about the world. See voyages set out to explore new lands and, above all, to find new trading opportunities in market. Main idea. New sea routes, development in sailing technology allowed for expansion of trade between Europe societies in the East. Expanding trade with Asia. In the mid 1500s, the turn of the Ottoman Empire captured the city Constantinople. It's Istanbul or Constantinople. Located on the it's not Constantinople, it's Istanbul. It's not Constantinople. It's not Constantinople, it's Istanbul. But that's what's called the times. Yeah. Located on the peninsula between Europe and Asia, Constantinople, Istanbul joined the two continents. Countries see gave Turks complete control of the land, trade routes connecting the continents. This control also allowed the Turks to change European high prices for Asian goods. Turkish merchants could then make a profit or earn more money to spend on the goods. To avoid trading with the Turks over land, Europeans explored new sea routes to Asia. At the end of 1500, navigator Vasco da Gama sailed to India via one of his routes. He and his fleet traveled around the Cape of Good Hope, and at the southern tip, southern tip of Africa. Portuguese navigator Bartolomeu had first discovered this route about a decade earlier. D. Gama decided to return for his trip with Indian spices. This journey helped establish direct trade between Europe and the East. Portugal and Africa. In the early 1400s, Prince Henry the Navigator established a school on the Atlantic coast in southern Portugal. The school consists of mathematics, map makers, astronomers, and instrument makers, and other instructors who taught students about sailing. Henry's goal was to teach sailors about ships building and navigation, are planning and following around. He wanted to send his students on ocean explorers. Missions. Think of explorers. Ocean ex, ex, somewhere else. An ocean explorations. Students learn about other lessons how to carve, how to build a special nuclear carving. The carving was light sailing ship that was board quick and able to sail windward or in the wind. These characteristics made the ship a particularly good choice for the long voyages Henry had in mind. Carnivals made it possible for explorers to sail far down the West African coast and elsewhere. Even Columbus used two carnival during his historic voyage to Americas in 1492. Ow. In the 1420s, Henry began funding carnival expedition to Africa. But Henry did it before Christopher Columbus even went there. People, though Henry himself never joined the expedition, he instructed his sailors to return goods from Africa's West Coast. During part of the Middle East, Portugal was on Islamic rule, so Spain took some traders had long told stories about letting go near the African coast. A series of African empires had inspiring stories, and stories weren't that far from the truth. Historic thinking, what reshaped. What the new sea Rutherford Diaz first discovered and vastly later followed took it to India. Analysis cause effects. Why did Europeans want to find new sea routes to Asia in the 1500s? 3. Evaluate. What might have been some of the advantages of taking a long voyage in the carnival? Proof of feeling. This culture in Lisbon, Portugal called monument, is that big? Bro, it's that big? Really? It's called monument to discoveries. Some of the voyages of Portuguese explorers of the 1500s and 15th and 16th century. Henry and the navigator stand at the top part of the monument, which is shaped on the front of the ship. Behind him are explorers, mapmakers, and others who play an important role in early explorations. Um, explore, uh, exploration. The early exploration. Why is the monument setting a fitting choice? And this is the monument. I'm going very slow, okay? Dude, really? The people see that? I wish I could see that. They can't. 3.1. We finally reached 3. Finally, I'm ready to reach 5. 5. 3.1. The kingdom of Gina. Uh, uh, Gina. Have you seen that? Of the kingdom of Gaia. After urban traders reached West Africa, the kingdom of Gaia. Of Gina. Of Gaia. After urban traders reached West Africa during the 1700s, they taught them about the top of a land where even the horses were draped in golden cloth. This was the land of Ghana, and for centuries, it was the wealthiest kingdom in West Africa. Why should animals leave me alone? I'm sorry. I'm outside in the zoo. Not outside the zoo. Main idea. West Africa's location made it a major trade center, leading to the rise of the Kingdom of Ghana and the spread of Islam. Islam! And this is a trans-Saharan trade route. This is how it looks like. Take a picture right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Travelers had to carry. Yeah, more time. Travelers had to carry enough fresh water to rise to this oasis. One is rare. There is the desert that contain freshwater sources. People travel discoveries. What was that? Discoveries. The camels were well suited to the desert's climate and could carry humans and goods long distance through the Sahara. Camels can survive traveling up to 100 miles without water, and they can carry heavy loads. Normally, traders, traders begin to land camel caravans or groups of people traveling together. He said it before. In the carnivals, they carry because of the trans-Saharan trade between routes between sub-Saharan Africa and northern Africa, which lay within the reach of Europe and Southwest Asia. Market towns started to flourish where trade routes met. They fight each other? What the? Oh no. There's two kinds of goods dominate trans-Saharan trade: gold and salt. Gold was mined in the forests south of Guyana. It was regularly used as a trade item. Salt, however, was not produced naturally in this area. People had to look north to the Sahara, which had an abundance of this valuable and essential nutrition. In fact, buildings in southern Sahara trade town Taghaz was constructed with salt blocks because that was the building's the material and largest supply. Salt carvers. This desert carver is carrying salt blocks through the, the Darkos Desert in Ethiopia. Carvers carnival similar to this one carry salt across the Sahara from northern Africa to Ghana many centuries ago. And this is how it looks like. So very salt. And read again. Okay, bye. Powerful kingdom, golden salt traders made men in West Africa, with gold flowing north and salt moving south. There, the point, the midway point, the clear in Ghana grew a profit from the rising economy as the king collected taxes on the imported and exported goods. By the 9th century, Ghana was rich and powerful, and able to conquer nearby lands with a strong army. The kingdom was structured according to a federal system, with many princesses ruling over various parts of the kingdom on behalf of the king. In addition to goods, trade from North Africa carried their Islamic faiths. Islam was a dominant region of much of Southwest Asia. So we try to hit it again. At the time, rising Muslim empires in Northern Africa, so there's only one, made beginning, made efforts to convert or change the people of West Africa to Islam, take over Ghana's trade, which weakened the power of the kingdom's rule. These efforts were so successful, oh, they lost. These efforts were so successful that in the mid-low century, a story named Al-American for Al-Andres Al-Spain described jihadist Chicago is city of two towns. One was home to Muslim traders, and the other was part of the king. By 1100, wow. In the Pavican class was Islam, wow. Ghana had declined as a result of droughts and unrest, providing the opportunity for new Muslim empire to take control of the region. Jihad Islam now or Christianity bad? I don't know. Historically, 1. Region. How did Ghana's location help it become wealthy? 2. It's pretty bad. It identified two geographic features the people of West Africa would have trade for trade with others. Emphasis. Why did the movement of traders help spread the influence of Islam? I mean, like, Ghana had all the advantages. It failed. How? Why would you let it? Oh, what the? Oh no. Okay. Okay, so hold on. I don't know what just happened. This is the Kingdom of Ghana. We'll do slow reversal. Okay. Critical viewing. The green box in the difference Gianna, the Jen Bali is an article wonder. My boss is a most place of worship. What this feature does a Photoshop. So ready to pray. There's your answer. 3.2 Bali and Shanghai. In Shanghai. 3.8 Bali and Shanghai. Africa and Asia. The 1300 new legends spread to Europe about a possibly wealthy king from Africa, West Africa, traveled with hundreds of camels and thousands of servants. This man, Massa Mus, gave so much gold that led to decline the, the, the precious metal value of parts of Asia. India. Wealth from the kingdoms of Mali, Songhai, very long trade routes to Northern Africa and Europe. All those bastards. What they do, I want to. Mall to Guyana. After Guyana's decline to hundreds, the Kingdom of Mali took control of the gold and salt trades in West Africa. Mali's first king was Sunjai Ha Katan. Sultan led military forces to defeat the weakened Kingdom of Ghana. Mali united to conquer lands to a peaceful prosperous empire stretches from the Nigeria River, uh, uh, Niger Empire River, and up the Sorera. For Sorera ruled well, it was Muslim who first introduced Mali to the world. Muslim became king in the 1300s. As a Muslim, he started making pilgrims or religious journey to the holy city of Mecca 1324. She was tasked with service in dozens of camps. The carving gave gold and luxurious goods to people along the way. Europeans and Asians, upon hearing the cause of the generous king, became more motivated to trade with the wealthy empire. Flossie beat Moose, beat returned from Micah a year later with new knowledge and idea. He turned the city of Timbuktu to a center of culture and learning. He also encouraged his people to learn Arabic so they they could study the holy book of Islam, the Quran. Shanghai from China. What? That's China? Wait, it's not China? What? No, it's not. It had to be in China. Shanghai. The Shanghai people lived to the east of the Mali Empire. Their capital city, Gayo, became such a wealthy, thriving city. The Mali Empire conquered it in 1325 and ruled it over for the next 50 years. When the Shanghai finally retook their capital city, they began to build their own empire. In the process, Shanghai assumed control of trans-Saharan trade. The Shanghai ruler Ascom Muhammad, the, the Shanghai ruler Ascom Muhammad, then continued to expand the kingdom and strengthen ties with other Muslims. He also reformed government banking, and education. Later, rulers fought each other for control, making the Shanghai vulnerable to the ambitions of their various neighbors. Shanghai lost Timbuktu as cabinet guy with Morocco. It's like old Morocco. Old like flag. But Morocco captured the two cities in 1591. Opposite 1594, but I mean 1591. Okay. The invasion by Morocco marked the end of the Shanghai Empire. Ghana, Mali, and Shanghai rose and fell. Other Western African cultures developed. The Hausa and Yoruba practiced agriculture and crafts. When the Hansan and Yorubas were light infantry, they combined forces to engage in war for other territories. The kingdom of the the, the kingdom of Fadin rose to power in the late 1400s, conquered many of its neighbors, and successfully engaged in trade with Europeans. The Europeans, meanwhile, had set their sights on other lands by the late 1400s. Soon, they would be exploring territory in the Americas. Historic thinking. One readership. How did the rise of the Mali and Shanghai affect trans-Saharan trade? Two. One readership. Two. Analyze cause and effects. How did massive boosters led to changes in Timbuktu? Three. Compare and contrast. Contrast. How were the empires of Mali and Shanghai similar? They're both in Africa. Speed me up. Speed me up. 3.3 Document based question. Impressions of Mali. Travelers have long recorded their observations of, of observations and explore new areas. Travel journeys from the past reveal details about places as they were long ago, and also give us insight into how much people reacted to different cultures. This painting from is illustration from an Arabic manuscript of a manuscript from the 1200s. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. It's an urban manuscript from 1200s. It shows a wealthy pilgrim on his Hajj, our pilgrim to Mecca in present-day Saudi Arabia. Morocco's traveler Eid al-Abad to Qatar began his travels by going to his Hajj in 1325. This one year as a Muslims made his Hajj, stopping in Cairo, Egypt. It's about Hermit Master Moose. The two never met, but later Elon Boston visit Mali. They gave Master Musa Martin Master Suleiman and began recording his observation. Critical thinking. One move does the painting convert. And this is how the fight looks like. This is how it looks like. What we still had to do is document one. Primary source Atlantis. From sources Atlantis to 15375 AD. See this Batman here? You coming back me once. I have to read this. And dropping Eerie map maker. The detail from medieval map shows West Africa map Musa. Massa Massa Musa. A man wearing a gold crown and holding a ball of gold. This map was made after Mount Musa pilgrim to Mecca, which literally put West Africa on the map. Constructive response. What does the image suggest about the impression Musa made on people outside the globe? Okay, so we're going to Egypt. It collapsed your economy. Document 2. Primary stories travel murmur. So travels in Asia and Africa 1325 to 1354, but in abundance. He wanted to travel throughout Africa, Europe, and Asia and wrote about his experience. His writers help understand the history and cultures of the places he visited. His experience from his writing, he described the interest of Sultan, a ruler of Mal, of Mal, of Mali, the massive Suleiman. Construction response. What expression do you see being Sultan beyond the audience? Go. Writings. Australian days, the Sultan will hold audience in the festival where there is popular or retrieval. First, three steps. The Sultan comes out of his door, in the corner of his palace, carrying a bowl in his hand and a quiver on his back. His usual dress is a very cheap red tunic made of the European fabrics because both the Sultan is preceded by the musician who created gold, silver, gumish, two-string guitars. Behind him come 300 armed slaves. He walks in leisurely fashion as he takes his seat. The drums, trembles, and bubbles of sound are document free. Primary source travels in Asia and Africa 325 to 1354 by Adrian Bashir. As in Islam, Adrian Bashir was interested to see how people in other religions practice his religion. In this aspect, he knows what he witnessed about the service Islam in Bible. He mirrored the communities of the people to the religion. constructive response. What does this description tell you about the importance of swim in Mali? And Friday, if a man could not go early to the mosque, he could not find according to praying, on account of his crowd. It is a custom of theirs to send each man his boy to the mosque with his prayer mat. The boy spreads it out for his master in a place that befitting him and remains on it until he comes to the mosque. And yet, another is reserved for learning the Quran by heart. They put the children in chains if they show any backwardsy, memorize it, and they are not set free till they have it by heart. Satisfies the right. 1. Review. Review. Review what you have learned about travel, trade, and religion in West Africa. 2. Recall. Feedback response to the West to the constructed response question above. What data the documents cause you to form these impressions? 3. Construct. Write a topic sentence that answers question. What impressions did Molly make on those travelers? Surprise. That's your answer. 4. Right. Use evidence from this capture and the documents. Write a paragraph that supports your topic sentence. And catch one 3 words before 1500 review. Vocabulary. Use each of the following vocabulary terms, sentence that shows an understanding of the term meaning and connection to information in this capture. 1. Civilization. Once humans started growing their own farm with food, cities civilizations could grow. 2. Migration 3. Migration 4. Establishing bird agriculture 5. Federalism 6. Navigation HSS 7.11.1. 7.7.7 Trans Serera A. Canvas. Reading. Strategy. If you haven't already, come your table to the creators of free societies to select the catcher. List about at least 4 characteristics in each. The answer the question. The Americas empires and Europe Africa Main ideas. Answer the question, follow the question, support your answers with evidence first capture. 10. How did the land in the Mesoamerican contribute to the rest of civilization? 11. Let's put them on. 11. What determined whatever a group of people in North America told of farming or continued to live as hunter-gatherers? Lesson 1.2. 12. Most significant of the Green Corn Festival lives of the people in Southeast North America. The simple free. 13. Why did the Roman Catholic Church begin the Crusade? Let's put it on. HSSHI1. 14. How the Renaissance influenced religious thought and paved the way for the Reformation? Lesson 2.2. HSSHI3. 15. Why did Prince Henry the Navigator establish a school to train sailors? Lesson 2.3. HSSS HSS 7.1 7.11.1. What was these dishes? 16. What caused the eventual decline of the Kingdom of Ghana? Lesson 3.1. HSS HI2. 17. How did Boston increase its trade business on its program to Mecca? Lesson 3.2. 18. Why are the writings of HP considered an important source for understanding West Africa in the 1500s? Lesson 3.3. HSS HSS REP 4. Historic figures. Answer the following questions. Support your answers with evidence for the capture. 19. Summarize what premises that bounds certain the atoms, Hopewell Mississippi cultures. Oh, come on. 20. A downside, cause and effect. Why did trading content before reported to European merchants? HSS 7.112. 21. Main inferences. What do you think happened to the kingdom of Shanghai or to the Empire region? To a dark conclusion. What is the truth? How reading firms? HSST 1. 23. Forms support opinions. What's South American, Western American, North American civilization do you feel was more advanced? Opinion support your answer. Interpret maps. Look closely. The map Voucher D. Gomes location around Africa. Reach India and return to Europe. And actually Christian from following. If you read globalized trade routes in countries to Europe and Asia, why are vast random sail all the way around Africa to reach the same ancient trade centers? 25. Why? 25. Do you think Europeans who find the Japanese trade only trade in merchants? What information did you have? Do you answer the question? Here's a here's a count experience, but that's a GC Sims law. The counter his drives to place near the southern tip of Africa for 49 years dependent on African question. Of all these in every tip, 1450 the natives came to where our ships lay. Our, our, the captain major landed and showed it very missions with the view of finding out whatever such things were to be found. The country, their country, this emergency included cinnamon, cloves, sea pearls, gold, and many other things. It was an adventure, and they had no knowledge whether of such articles, and they were constantly giving round bells and fin rings choices. Why do you think that Captain Major wants to know if such things were to be found in the country? HSS REP 4. Connect to your life. Choices. Argument. Female way trading from a source related in a context event solicitation. You have read today about this catcher. Today, the issue is still trading with one another. Does modern trade have the same trade, same cultural impact as they started years ago, or more? My program stated your opinion and offered reasons for supporting your answer. HSS 7.11 or 2. To salute back to country in this way, which trading fits cultures. Then, think about how trading fits cultures today. So what about some of the differences made those in review things to help your formulate your opinion? Include examples of similarity or differences to support your opinion. Use evidence from the text or two or three key terms from the category to make your point. Conclude your argument by restating your opinion and summarizing your reason. And we're finally done. We're finally done with chapter 1. We're doing chapter 2 tomorrow because this video took about 2 hours. But this is the time for chapter 2. That's it. I'm not showing you that. But you're wait for over to tomorrow with that, okay? Like and subscribe.